Okay, good evening. This is the Rutland Town Planning Commission, and this is July 10th, 2025. This is our usual meeting. We have a lot of people on vacation and such, but we'll go ahead with what we have here and start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we do have a quorum. So we can vote on things. Approval of the agenda. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve that?
I move it. Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Unanimous. Doesn't look like any public comment. No one here in attendance and no one online. We'll skip over new business because we just have some topics we've already covered for consideration tonight. And the first one, That's all right.
Teams meeting or Zoom, and there wasn't, so.
Oh, okay. So the first item is what happened at the select board meeting last week. I think it was last week. So Kevin Brown was there and he made, I don't think he mentioned zoning once. He came prepared to advise the select board to do a subdivision bylaw. And that's what they agreed to do. What they considered was doing nothing, having nothing, doing a subdivision or doing a subdivision bylaw. And so get these to Demetrio later. So when we have a bigger group here, and some of the key members that have been working on Kevin's language in the past, I thought we would put these two side by side. One is what a subdivision bylaw can do, and the other is what a zoning bylaw can do. And the reason they were persuaded to do a bylaw as opposed to another ordinance, just fixing our subdivision ordinance, was that there'd be some more enforcement to it. And what was the other reason? It's escaping me now. Oh, the process of adopting it would be a little more fulsome if it was a bylaw. It would have to go through this body and go through some hearings, the select board and hearings, and then there's an option to have the public do something afterwards. I think another hearing, whereas an ordinance, the select board can just, approve those anytime. So Kevin suggested that it be a bylaw, and then the enforcement would be a little bit easier too. So that was a surprise. And our marching orders were to come back with a subdivision bylaw. That I don't think that precludes us sending a message back to them or a counter opinion or a dissenting opinion. But that's where we are right now. And so I thought at the next meeting or the meeting after that, we'd take a more serious look at, look at these, Norm, I think everyone was mailed out what Norm picked out of Kevin's comments in that big letter from more than a year ago. You know, what needed to be stricken from our our subdivision ordinance. So there's that to look at. Have we asked Kevin yet for some examples? Because he was touting that he had.
Bristol, and he gives us Bristol as the example. I've looked at it, but it's unified. It's a whole unified.
Well,
set,
yeah,
so-
that's what we talked about
Yeah.
with him.
But he's away. He's away for a few weeks. So
Is he okay? Because at Slick Board meeting, he said he had looked at like 35 towns and looked at some of the subdivision bylaws that have been made. And so I want to go back and say, well, let us see them and let us use them as examples. So,
Are we only, I know it's Vermont. Have we looked at other more developed areas for what they do for this developments? I know like for between bylaws and ordinance, just because I know my girlfriend has an HOA and the
Mhm.
bylaws in there said one thing and it's not actually accurate anymore. So just with that concern, bylaws have to be updated regularly and, things need to be taken out. They're no longer in effect. So I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll do better than the homeowners association, but I'm just curious, like how much changes does that require throughout the life of the bylaws as opposed to an ordinance, which then kind of sets the law?
I think either one could be changed by legislation, by laws that are passed by the legislature. That's kind of what happened to our existing subdivision ordinance. It's so old, it's 40 years old, that so many things had changed at the state level. And here in Vermont, it's all top down. If the legislature says you can't do something or it says you can do something, that's all you have to go by.
It's not a choose your own adventure, it's follow our direction.
Yeah, it's called Dillon's rule, right? It's yeah, it's just we're one of the states that have it. So, and I think that's totally different than what an HOA is
Yeah.
able to do.
But I
Yeah.
just, I know that even the nonprofits have bylaws and things like
Yep.
that, and it's just
Yep.
a matter of updating the bylaw, and you have to go, and every time we have to update it, we have to go back through the process of doing that. It makes it kind of cumbersome to do.
Right, yeah, a whole lot of fun. Yeah, any comments? Sound like a plan to maybe keep the door open a little bit?
So we're gonna look at these maybe in a week or the next meeting or the one after that
Yeah,
and kind of
Yeah.
compare them.
yeah.
And when we look at this, we're gonna look at, I assume we're gonna look at any restrictions we have by not having a zone.
Yeah.
What is it that we can do with the zoning bylaw that we?
Right.
Right, and that's what these two, yeah, put them side to
Yeah.
side.
Yep.
Could pass that down to Demetrio. Yeah, that would help. Kevin sold this by saying there in the subdivision bylaw, there are 4 items that are shalls and 5 optional. But once you look at them side by side, you see that 4 is not very many, and you can add the 5 to kind of bolster that. But you go back to Norm's comments, and that kind of illustrates how many things we can't put in there that we do have now.
Is there another page to this? At the bottom of.
That's all I got too. I think we're missing something.
Oh, did it not copy? Oh, sorry about that. Change.
Can't tell by this, the second other one also is not.
Well, let me email these to everyone. And they should stay intact that way. Yeah, sorry about that. So Yeah, didn't hear any of the conversation, didn't hear anything from Kevin about what he was telling us and advising us to do.
Okay.
Nothing.
Amazing how that works.
Yeah.
He's an attorney.
Yep. Yeah, we'll do it sometimes. Maybe a couple attorneys. So,
I'm gonna have to question just from my own understanding, but we've got these two choices, whether we do a bylaw, whether we do ordinance.
well, the select board has said you will do a subdivision bylaw. And what we're talking about is like, should we do any kind of a pushback, or do we just put our heads down and do a subdivision bylaw?
And this is only gonna apply for lands of like any like 10 acre, like this is the one, like, right, this is where we're talking about the Act 250 permit and having this in place instead of the
This
Act.
is any commercial development over an acre.
So, but because we either have to abide by Act 250 or we can abide by our bylaws for that, is my understanding from the last
No,
meeting.
they're both coming down from the state. So yeah, Act 250 would take, precedence over for those projects that fall under it. It won't touch anything that's like a half an acre, and that's something you could put in the
I
bylaws,
don't need to make it any more stringent than it already is.
right?
I'd imagine, so it's just a matter of getting us up to compliance then. Essentially, updating our 40-year-old outdated bylaws to be current with current.
Yeah,
law.
they're not current, and the town attorney told us that wouldn't, and he told the select board. So there was one thing, that both of us, that they wouldn't hold up in court because they had so many components that are no longer allowed, or were probably never allowed in a subdivision ordinance. So yeah, we can just do the bylaw, the subdivision bylaw, get some examples and work from there if that's what everyone wants to do. But I'd like to have the conversation with the whole group and get them all up to speed.
We have a direction to go at step one to finally do something and start something. It's something, whether it's the right thing or not, we'll find out. It'll be.
Yeah. Yeah,
Or the
at
best-
least it would be defensible in court.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the first step, or maybe it's all we need.
And I think, and the reason we're comparing it to the zoning is I think everybody here feels that at least it deserves some thought. I don't think the select board agrees with that, but, right? I mean, that's why we're comparing it. Let's see how zoning bylaws, even though the select board really isn't into that, how it compares to what they're suggesting we do, which is the subdivision bylaw.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we'll have a short meeting tonight. Our next meeting, we'll have Mike Rowe on the 31st. We'll have Mike Rowe here and, Mary,
He's state.
no, he's the rec director.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, okay.
So he's now a full-time town rec director. And, one of his responsibilities will be Pocket Park.
Ah, I see.
So yeah, Mary Ashcraft wanted to sit in on that meeting, as well as Sharon Russell. Because they're both on the rec committee, I believe.
Mary's not, but she's interested because she's a big
Yeah.
part of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, any announcements from anyone? The townwide celebration is the 23rd of August. Mark your calendars. It's at, Northwood Park, Demetrio.
Yep, yep.
And, it's a
Oh.
family event for the most part, although a lot of people show up. There's free food.
That does it.
And what we'll have for the planning commission will be something for the MS4 project. So we'll do some
That's four.
MS4 is stormwater separate sewer systems. It's a permit that the town is required to have for for a small watershed. Well, it's some good sized watershed in Rutland town. So as part of having the permit, they have to do some education and outreach to the public. So we'll have materials there for stuff and things for kids to play with. So I think we can move down to the minutes and we can actually get one of these done. It looks like may only be able to do the May 29th one. We'll chip away at these.
So I didn't reprint that. I know the answer to my question.
I do.
Well, the date at the top where it says date,
Yeah, we fixed that. That's been,
it's been fixed.
yeah,
I have one that hadn't been.
that's why I sent out new
Okay.
copies to everybody the other day, is because I had fixed it all in the new one.
I didn't print it again. That's why okay. I'm good.
I would make a motion to approve as written.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Any changes? Looks pretty good. Okay, if we're ready for the question, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that's unanimous too.
I'm gonna unfortunately be silent on any of these prior ones that I wasn't involved in.
Right,
So,
that's the right move.
yeah, I don't know what I'm agreeing to or not. Just out of curiosity, Kevin, what was his last name for the attorneys? I see another attorney here, David Graysky.
Graysick, yeah.
Graysik.
Yeah,
That's, he's the attorney for the mall activity
Okay.
process.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Kevin
Kevin Brown,
Brown, okay, is the attorney for for the select board.
he is, yeah,
Yeah, the town. Yeah. Select board.
I didn't mean that any.
No, I know you
I
did.
just meant for
No,
the
no,
town, you know.
It's
we're,
accurate.
we're,
It's
we're
good.
we're not
It was.
picking up on anything.
No.
Okay. Shall we adjourn?
I know that we were doing.
Okay,
Second.
we're adjourned. Thank you, Bill.